So the question here is can you talk about how the blockchain and the black goo and human DNA are related? Most definitely. Just to give it to you in a nutshell, as defining those first as they are, is for those who haven't heard about the black goo, which is not to be associated with gray goo. I think actually the people that were coming out and trying to talk about black goo, which I think was predominantly cats, the negative black goo that he was talking about, let's say the black goo that had the nefarious or evil intentions, that et cetera, as he explained it, that is gray goo. And gray goo was created through the process of nanotechnology and the inevitability of creating a self-replicating nanoswarm. Since the whole idea of nanotechnology is basically micromechanics and replications, basically creating micro machines that can repeat can carry out commands on a microscopic scale, then it was like inevitable that a gray goo, which is a self-replicating goo, could be a concern in how to stop something like that and the implications of it. And the implications are more like Spider-Man touching the venom and then, starting to end up becoming that because it's replicating inside of their system and replicating in their consciousness so much. Okay, so that's gray goo. Now, what black goo is black goo is akin to if you could get to the bottom of the ocean and just take a cup of what's down there, that would be black goo. And that would be like the strongest version. One of the versions that you could, let's say, get to now is known as mountain tears, aka Shilajit, which gives 85. It has 85 ionic minerals or 85 minerals inside of it in an ionic form with fulvic acid, which also breaks down those minerals. We also, of course, provide Shilajit. But it's been known that Shilajit substance is basically the closest that you're going to get to black goo beyond, let's say, the ultra spiritual, if you may, connection with Ma'at, which of course is the principles of Kim, the principles of the black or the mystery, that which still in most cases remains hidden, which is basically how do things start their first process of forming. And they just, that's just known as Ma. So that's the beginning of the black goo. And I have a very strong inclination that element is very aquatic and has a lot to do with Earth's waters before there was what we would call land. And most of the organisms being, if not all being, in fact, products of things that have come from the ocean. And even the art of Kim or alchemy would be to blend that raw squid-like matter of intelligence into, and that would complete your question, a genetic string. Like, so basically the process of, let's say what I'm showing in the radiolaria is you have shells that are literally shaped like what you would feel like your heart was in. Like, let's say, for instance, your heart was just all by itself, okay? And let's say it's just a part, right? It lives on its own. It could live on its own, okay? Let me let you understand how powerful these ancestors were. So the heart as you know it would live in a shell, or what you would call a shell, by itself. Now, these shells are shaped specific ways. All the ventricles and all the things are built. So you see that now. Most people just see that as something they want to eat. Something they crack the shell. That's all they really understand about it at this point. But before, there was awareness that this could be the heart, this could be the colon, this could be the spleen. And alchemy was the ability to blend all of that together to create something from it. And that's why there's a high connection with these aquatic, like the Dogon tail, the mermaid, etc. Highly aquatic entities being a very strong part of the preliminary session of what we would say is humanoid, or in that case, more of like an amphibian 1.5, okay? So the important thing, though, to realize is, and you can go look at it there, it's only a scroll a little bit down, you'll see the things there. All of what we're seeing here is geometry, which also exists within our body, tones, vibrations, frequencies. All of what we're seeing is coming directly from the ocean first, but you could see more of its primordial phase. So now how blockchain connects to that is, blockchain is basically a direct replication of different kind of systems. Let's say, for instance, the blockchain system, as they said, is the Byzantine system of confirming transactions. So it's basically a system that attempts to understand something, confirm it, and then move on to the next stage. That's basically also how DNA moves, is it has to confirm something, it then saves it, then it moves on to the next phase. Now, any more deeper connections that blockchain has, seeing that it is still a digital component, is a, there's other things, but I guess that's just relative to your question in relation to blockchain and DNA and how that sequence is connected.